Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verses 9 through 21. Now, the city of God is going to be described to us in this passage, and I want you to not get caught up with the physical description. The number 12 that's used repeatedly, this is not a number, it's an image, and it represents God's promised people. The 12 tribes, the 12 apostles, it's 12 times 12, 12 times 1,000. The various stones that are referenced. Again, the precious jewels, precious metals are all a reference to the immense value of what God has given. And to consider is that what gives us value as God's people is that God created you. And from beginning to end, we have that value. It is intrinsic in us because God has created us. And so we start off verse 9, one of the seven angels with the seven bowls that ushered in God's dominion and reign, that brought an end to the brokenness of this world, says, look, here comes, I'm going to show you the bride of the Son of God. I'm going to show you the wife of the Lamb. And it is the church. And in this idea of the bride, the lamb, is a reference to the intimacy and the devotion between the bride, the church, and the groom, who is the Son of Man, the Son of God, Jesus Christ. And that the people of God would be just so focused on loving and adoring the groom, Jesus Christ. Verse 10 talks about how he carried me away in the spirit to show me the great city, because it is we're not able to see what God is showing us without the Holy Spirit opening our eyes to see it. And verse 11, it shines with the glory of God. That is the most important thing to understand about the whole city, is that it is the glory of God, the grace of God that's shining out. These stones would just be lumps in the dirt without the grace of God shining through them. And one of the surprising things is what's shown to us as the eternity is not some countryside or seaside resort. It is a city. And where we often think about cities as corrupt, filled with crime, of having, too much population, all kinds of other problems that we need to leave from. Here in this passage, the city is a place of God's grace being poured out instead, that those problems no longer exist. And the glory of God is beaming through it. Talks about the high wall, 12 gates with 12 angels. All of this, again, is a reference to God's promise. And you think about these 12 tribes that are mentioned. These are tribes that had failed God in so many ways, but he has used all their failure to bring about his redemption for them. And the same for the apostles of the Lamb. Verse 15, the angel takes a measuring rod, measures the city, the walls and gates, and it's 12,000 stadia, which is a Roman measurement in length and height. And it's a square, up, down, and sideways, right? Don't think about this in a physical sense. And it's not 15,000 miles, whatever. It's 12 times 1,000, because it's an idea of what God is completing. The 12 stones that are recorded represent the 12 tribes. Those stones would have been on the breastplate that the high priest wore before the Holy of Holies. Who's wearing that? Who's our high priest now? It's Jesus Christ, who wears us on his heart. And it talks about how the streets are gold. And we think about what the Bible talks about, how we are refined in fire so that we may become, gold without any kind of dross. And so the way of God's kingdom is this refined gold, pure gold. Well, friends, there's just so much to cover. Thanks. Have a blessed day.